Hi, I'm the List Girl and welcome to my video graphic channel. Let's go! Today I'm doing another list of lists video. This is list number of 100, and I want to write 100 lists because I'm obsessed with making lists. Bring me joy. My online name is the List Girl for a reason, and today's list is 13 foods that trigger my IBS. Now, if you have IBS, you will have your own triggers. You may have similar triggers, and if you've recently been diagnosed and you have no idea what your triggers are, this may help you figure that out. But these foods affect me in different ways, and I will give some examples of how they affect me, potentially how I learnt that they affected me. Hopefully these things will help you guys figure your bodies out. I mean, I don't know everything about my IBS yet, even though I've had IBS since I was 12. I do believe I was diagnosed when I was 12. So I've had it for a while. I'm 28 now. But yeah, there's still so much I'm learning about it. But these are my triggers. Number 1, dairy. I didn't know that I was so badly affected by dairy until I became vegan. Now, I knew it upset my tummy a little bit, but I didn't know how much it affected literally every part of my body until, as I said, I became vegan, and my partner and I, during the summer, we were getting really into making smoothies. This was like in the first or the second year of us being vegan, and we brought a couple of frozen fruit mixes from Asda, I think it was. Or maybe Sainsbury's, and we were making smoothies. We drank them, and throughout the day I kept feeling very off. I felt kind of sickly, and I also felt extremely bloated, and I literally, like, my whole body swelled up, and I was like, how the hell did I overnight put on a whole stone? Because that's literally how it felt. I was like, what the hell? Like, that's not possible. How can you put on a whole stone in one night? And so the next day, woke up, my body was back to normal, and we made more smoothies. And as we were pouring the mix into the blender, the package was facing the other way. I saw these bold words on the back, and I was like, it said yogurt. I was like, oh shit. It just started to make so much sense, because honestly, my whole body just swelled up and I just felt so nauseous. That is the first time I realised how badly dairy affected me. Number 2, alcohol. Some alcohols hurt my tummy more than others. If I have too much beer or that barley can affect my stomach. I've noticed that, oh, what is that drink called? It's like a sparkling wine type of thing. Oh, what's it called? Or is it champagne? What's it called? Shandy? No, it's not shandy. But anyways, I'll put it here. I'll Google it later. That tends to upset me, make me feel quite nauseous. Gives me quite a painful stomach. Maybe it's because of all the bubbles, all the gas, but it can hurt me physically. Number 3, caffeine. I've been a very caffeine heavy drinker ever since I can remember. Started when I was like 13, 14 with Kick from Tesco, and then from there it went to Relentless, and then Red Bull, and then I was just living off shitloads of coffee. I used to have like 400 milliliters of caffeine every single day without fault, until I became vegan and I started caring about my body, because my body was in such bad condition, both like visually, that I hated the way I looked, but also mostly I was in a lot of pain, and I had done a lot of damage to my digestive system and just aggravated my IBS to the point that it was just constantly in pain, and there was just no point where it stopped. So I knew that there was something I had to do about it, and that's when I quit caffeine. Energy drinks, I quit coffee, I quit tea, and I noticed that the pain that I felt subsided quite substantially, because obviously it's a stimulant, and stimulants do affect your digestion. Number 4, barley. Now, my body has a certain amount of gluten tolerance, a certain amount, like it has a limit that it gets to, and then it's like, no more babes, no more. But barley, there is no limit on it. Like, any bit of barley and I'm out for the day. We used to drink barley cup. Every time I drank it, I felt so nauseous, and I was instantly just hit with like a punch in the stomach. It's funny because I'll link this one, number 4 barley, and number 5, which was too much gluten, so I'll link these two together. But like, I'm not affected that much by like pasta or noodles, and those have gluten in them. Saying that if I have too much gluten in one day, I will be in pain. But I feel like my body has a certain limit, but it doesn't matter how much bread I eat, even if it's whole grain, one slice of toast, and I will be on the floor. And I don't know why that, like, bread affects me, but not all pasta and noodles don't really affect me. And like, I have Weetabix in the morning every single day. That doesn't affect me. But as soon as I have one slice of bread, I'm on the floor, like, in excruciating amount of pain. And I don't know if it's because bread has barley in it. Some breads do have barley in it, and I don't know if that is the problem, or if it's because maybe because I don't really pay full attention to what I eat in a day. Maybe by the time I have a slice of bread, I've already hit my gluten limit throughout the day. I don't know. Maybe that's something I should do a little bit of experimentation on. That sounds frightening, because honestly, the pain I feel after I eat bread, it feels like someone is stabbing me in the intestines and kind of just rotating it backwards and forwards, and it hurts like a bit. So yeah, that's 4 and 5. Barley and too much gluten. Number 6, broccoli. This is a hit and miss. Again, I don't know if it's a certain amount of broccoli that affects me, but broccoli is gas inducing, which with someone with IBS, I don't know if that means I'm more at risk of having trapped gas or something. But a lot of the times when I eat broccoli, and this counts as well for other cruciferous vegetables, like, I always end up with trapped gas, and it really hurts. But then again, that can be hit and miss. Maybe it's the amount of broccoli, I don't know. Again, I might have to experiment on that, but I do know that broccoli affects me. Number 7, spicy food, which is really annoying because I've always loved spicy food. As a teenager, I used to say all the time, the hotter the better. But my body just cannot handle even a smidge of spice these days. And I'm not gonna say like it's as bad as that guy in Along Came Polly, but like, I don't get the sweats or anything, but I will be on the toilet for a while after that. Number 8, greasy food. Anything that's too oily, anything that's too greasy can hurt me if I have too much of it. Number 9, Gallia melons. After I eat Gallia melons, I love them. They don't love me back. I do get the runs. I can also get quite a bit of nausea. I don't know why. Because melons, they're mostly water, and I drink water all the time, and that doesn't make me feel any type of way. It actually makes me feel good, so I don't understand why a melon would affect me. Maybe it's the certain nutrients that it has in it that just don't agree with my body. Number 10, cashews. Now, I didn't realise how that my body was even affected by cashews until on the 9th of September 2017, I watched What the Health, and I realised that I was going to have to quit a lot of things, not just meat and dairy, in order to help my IBS. And that day I quit meat and dairy, I went fully vegan. I also quit caffeine, and I quit smoking. I was also smoking back then. I think my body went into shock, I don't know, but like, that's a lot of things to quit in one go. Whenever you quit anything, your body goes through withdrawals. For example, when you give up coffee, you get headaches. When you give up smoking, you can get stomach pains, nausea, headaches, all sorts of things, craving, a drop in your emotional moods and state. I'm sure when you quit meat and dairy, something else must happen to your body, like it's a shock to the system, it's new. So I quit all these things in one go. For 2 weeks I was out of it. Like, I had the fever, I had the cold shakes, I had the nausea, I even threw up several times. Like, my stomach was going through hell. My body just went through so much. My lungs, my asthma was so bad. They were actually worse when I quit than whilst I was smoking throughout the whole thing, which is weird. But anyways, I remember the first time I ever realised that I ever had problems with cashews, the day after I had quit everything. I was sitting on the sofa and I hadn't eaten anything because everything made me feel nauseous. I ate cashews and they hurt me. Like, I was in serious pain, and that made me feel way more nauseous than anything else that I had eaten. and I thought it was a fluke. I thought, oh, maybe it's just because I'm going through all these withdrawals. But then I had them again a week or so later, and again they made me feel nauseous and they gave me stomach pain, and I was like, I am really confused. But apparently cashews seem to be a common trigger for people with IBS, and I was not aware of this. Fun little story for you there. Number 11, fizzy drinks, but not fizzy water though, like sparkling water. That doesn't affect me, but definitely Coke, Pepsi, Fanta, Sprite, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's the bubbles and it gives me gas. Then again, saying that sparkling water also has gas, but that doesn't affect me. Number 12, too much salt. I feel like after I have a salty meal, my stomach stings. Now, I don't know if that's got anything to do with my IBS, but it's to do with my digestive system. But yeah, that is a thing that happens. And finally, 13, and this is something that I learned like last month. So again, learning all sorts about my body. It's pears. They don't seem to agree with me at all. I had 2 pears one night last month, and instantly I was on the toilet and I could not stop shitting. And it did cause me some digestive pain, but mostly just diarrhea. So yes, those are my 13 triggers, the only 13 triggers that I know of so far. I still have a whole lifetime ahead of me, hopefully, figuring out my body and what agrees with me and what doesn't. But yes, those things definitely don't agree with me, all for different reasons, and they all have different effects on my digestive system. It's all very strange, but the human body is a complicated thing. I hope you found this video useful. If there is anything on my list that you may not be aware of, if they are triggers, maybe it could be something that you could, if you have IBS that is, maybe it's something that you could experiment and find out. I'm not saying that all my triggers would be your triggers, absolutely not. But if you have no idea what your triggers are, then maybe try these, have a little test. But yeah, let me know below what your triggers are if you're aware of them. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Before I log off, I have just one question for you. What is your next adventure?